Hey guys, this is Kevin with God Every Day, and that's how I try to keep him. I want to talk to you today about something that has come up in my life as well as a couple of people that I know. It's it's very hard to maintain a relationship. Communication is the key. You must know. You must not be in any way devious with one another. um, that's with any relationship. That's you know parental mother and father, mother and son, father and son, child and parent, whatever the whole every relationship, friends, um, and of course the big one, husband and wife. Now, the enemy does not want us to be happy. He does not want us to communicate because, as the Bible says, well, I can't remember the exact quote right now. Of course, my mind just went blank right then. But it basically says, one is easily broken, a cord of two is stronger, and a cord of three is just almost impenetrable. Okay, so what this means is when two people are in one mind and one accord about something, then they're a whole lot harder to break, and they have a whole lot more strength, and they can break more stuff than one person by themselves. It's just easier. I mean, it's whenever people are one mind and one accord, and this is hard to do sometimes, especially if you don't communicate. Now, I have recently become aware, basically a revelation, and this is helping me in my own life, believe me, um, of the enemy's tactics in keeping. Not only does he not want you to be happy, he loves nothing more than breaking people up. He came to kill, to steal, and destroy. He came to kill your joy, or steal your joy, steal, kill, and destroy. He came to steal your joy, kill your spirit, and destroy your relationships. This is what he came to do. As his sole purpose in existence is to steal, kill, and destroy. Well, triple circle. So anyway, y'all know what I mean. So, it has come to my attention that in a revelation, um, he is great at making people miscommunicate. Now, let me explain this. By miscommunicate, I mean, if he gets into the mix, especially, whenever a husband and wife or, two people who love each other are in a disagreement, he does his best to make it seem to the other person like you're, well, he does his best to stop the communication, which means deviating. So basically, what I'm saying is everything that you say, and I've noticed that, like, and this has been in a lot of my relationships, I will say something, and the other person will say, it'll come up later, and they will say, well, you said this. No, I did not say that. It was the enemy is very good at making you hear what he wants you to hear, is what I'm saying to you. If you're in a dispute, you are, and it's really hard to explain, but I'm sure that, if you all guys pray about it, then you will totally understand what I'm saying to you. Let's say you're in an argument with someone, like I said, they hear something that you actually did not say. Maybe they heard it in a different way. Hearing is distorted. Your vocal cords are distorted because you may say something that you didn't mean to come out the way that it did. And because of that, the other person reacts and gets angry, and then boom, the fight has escalated and escalated and escalated. And it's just like just a chipping away at your relationship. What I want and what I would like, and really what I like probably doesn't matter, but I'm sure what we all want is to be aware that when you are, and it's hard because, man, when you're in a tiff with somebody, a big one or a little one, it doesn't matter. It's hard to keep your thoughts straight, um, especially when you feel like you're being attacked. But see, this is the thing that the enemy does so well, is he makes you think that you're being attacked when you're really not being attacked. He makes the slightest thing that you say sound to the other person a lot of times like you are just, literally attacking that person. That is not what is mostly intentioned there, people. Number one, this person that you're arguing with loves you. Otherwise, there wouldn't even be a fight. There wouldn't be a confrontation. You have to love somebody enough to argue with them. I know that sounds stupid. I know it sounds, irrational, but it's really not if you think about it. Because if they didn't love you, then they wouldn't care enough to argue. So, and I just realized something about myself that I'm not even going to share right now. But anyway, that it is what it. If you don't love somebody, you're not even going to argue with them. You're going to just let it go. Maybe even lie to get that person to shut up and let you get out the door. The thing is, when you love somebody, you truly care what they think. And this is good to keep in mind whenever you're arguing with someone. Think about it like that. This person that you're arguing with, and hopefully you're not arguing, this is just a, for instance. And I know everyone out there has arguments, so it's going to happen. But when you're arguing with someone, just stop and think, okay, this person cares enough to argue with me. Do they really mean what I think that they said? Probably not, people. You actually do say things that you don't mean when you're arguing because it's like a fight. It's like your feelings are hurt on both sides. It is an actual battle, emotional battle. So, number one, try not to say anything that you don't mean. Number two, try to keep a straight mind in all of this so that you can be aware of when the enemy is trying to slide something in on you, because he'll do that. You got to understand, he hates us. He hates love, because God is love. And we get love from God. God has freely given us love. And he is so jealous of that fact that he literally hates everything that we stand for. So he does not want us to be happy. He does not want us to be complete with another human being. That's why he fights so hard to cause divorces. He'll cause it over finances. He'll cause it over, a multitude of things. Cheating. Ew, not a good thing, people. Please don't do that. Lying. That happens a lot. Hiding something. That happens a lot. But let me tell you, they're all tied together. Miscommunication is the number one thing that causes. Everybody says that it's finances. No, it is miscommunication. Try and understand what the person in front of you is trying to say to you. It's a very hard thing to do, guys, and I'm asking a lot of you. Believe me, I know. But try to understand what they're saying, and try to remember, like I said, if they didn't love you, then they wouldn't care, so it wouldn't even be an argument about it. So, let's keep the hurtful things down to a minimum, or to a zero would be better. And, watch how you say things, watch your attitude. Your body language can mean a lot. A lot of people pick up something about body language that, less than, I started to say, I hate to say it, but I don't. I'm very good at reading body language, which is how I usually know who to trust and who not to trust. But even if you don't, then people subtly and in their mind, without realizing it, pick up on body language. So don't be aggressive. There's no need to. I mean, come on. This is a person that you love that you're talking to. That's why would you want to be aggressive? Why would you want to hurt that person? Snapping. This is a hard one because if you're tired or if you're thinking about something else, or mostly in my case, if you catch me by surprise, it's just like if somebody runs up behind you and yells boo. If you have no idea where something is coming from and it catches you totally by surprise, then you're liable to snap. Now, whichever end of the snapping that you're on, if you're the snappy, then my suggestion, immediately apologize. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I did not mean that the way that it sounded. If you're the snapper, take a step back. Oh, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. See, I'm not right about everything. Not right about anything, actually. Only God is. And that's what me making these stupid mistakes will tell you, that if I'm ever right about anything, then it's got to be God. If you're the snapper, stop. Say, oh, wait a minute. No, I did not mean that the way it sounded. And don't just push it on through, like for pride or anything like that. No, it doesn't matter. My pride doesn't matter. Towards the people that I love, I don't care. I will say I'm sorry in a heartbeat. If I did something wrong, I am sorry. I'm so sorry that I did this. This is also a good practice to get into, because it does not take anything away from you to say I'm sorry. It takes nothing away from you to say I'm sorry. You can give the person that you're apologizing to, well, it lets them know that you are sorry, and that you feel bad about whatever it was that happened. So if you're the snapper, please apologize. Maybe you didn't mean it to sound the way that it did. Maybe you said it because you were surprised about something. Maybe you're sick, which you're a little more liable to do, or tired, or whatever. But I mean, there's not, like I said, there's nothing in the world wrong with saying I'm sorry. Saying I'm sorry it's just the thing to do. If you're in the wrong, please learn to say I'm sorry. It's very helpful. It makes people feel good whenever you do apologize. It's not a license to do anything you want to and then say, oh, I'm sorry later. Not that. Anyway, if you're the snappy, if someone is like snapping at you, stop for a second. Before you bite back, please back up and try to understand where this snapping came from, and say, okay, now I know you did not mean that, so let's just chill for a second. Everybody back up, go to your corners, get you a drink of water, and then, come back out, and hopefully no bell will have to be rung. It's vital, people. It's vital to communicate and to be completely honest. And it's vital to have people in your life that you can be completely honest with. That is what, I guess that is the most important thing. Now, like I said, if it's a stranger out there or whatever, guess what? You don't have to fight out there, because that's a pride thing, and I'm going to get more into that here in just a minute. You don't have to get into a fight out there in the world, unless, of course, someone is threatening your life physically. Then yes, please do defend yourself. But as far as like somebody saying something to you, who cares? What do you care what that person thinks? You shouldn't care, because they're not important in your life. They don't matter. So if this thought comes in, oh, well, they said this to me and I can't let that stand. Folks, that is pride. It shouldn't matter what anybody else says. It shouldn't matter what anybody else thinks, except for the people that are in your life, and most importantly, yourself. I have noticed that most of the time, whenever people do get touchy about something and get ready to fight about, whatever, for whatever reason, somebody insults them or whatever, I don't care. Insult me all you want to. makes me no difference, because guess what? You're not part of my inner circle. You're not part of my family. And the thing is, I don't care what you think. I love you, but I don't care what you think. Um, it really doesn't matter to me. We can be going down the road and somebody flip me off. I don't care. Who cares? Maybe they're having a bad day. I just smile and wave at them, and usually that makes them angrier. But then they'll go on and leave you alone. So what I was going to get into, the thing I said, I'll get into that in a minute. I was talking with a lady who is really, really great Christian, in my opinion. I believe in God's opinion too, which is the one that matters. Who tries to do everything that the Lord tells her and everything. And we had this discussion, and there are things, please guys, there are simple basic facts in the universe. Men and women are different, and I'm probably going to get lots of hate texts and mail from that if anybody besides the people that I know get a hold of this. But they're not only different physically, also in how they look at the world. And this is just like two examples. Men have more trouble with pride as a general rule. Pride can jump in, sneak in, and just basically destroy your life. I used to be full of it. Well, I was full of a little more than pride, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I was full of pride, and because of that, I was ready to fight at the just drop of a hat. Sometimes I'd knock the hat out of somebody's hand just to fight, because I didn't want anybody to think of me as anything but the toughest, roughest, most handsome individual that ever walked. And that got me into a lot of trouble, but it not only got me into trouble, it kept me angry. It kept me angry for years. And I don't like being angry, folks. I like being Kevin that most of you know now. I just like being kind, thoughtful, considerate, loyal, and just these things that I like. And that anger kept me from that for so long. It kept me from being somebody that I could love. And if I didn't love myself, then who in the world is going to love you? You got to be able to love yourself. The only person that will is right up there. Well, there's actually three of them, but they're right up there. And God will love you no matter what. People will not, just to let you know. Now, Christians try to, but it's hard sometimes, especially when somebody is being a complete jerk. But out there, like I said, doesn't even matter unless pride comes in. I let it get a hold of me not too awful long ago. Someone literally pulled their car over. They thought I cut them off. And pulled their car over in front of me and blocked the way. My first impulse was old Kevin came back, and I was ready to jump out the door and actually do something about it. But April was with me, and I don't want her to see that guy. So that helped me to not. And then whenever I started thinking about that, I'm like, okay, I don't want God to see me being that guy anymore either. So, and he sees everything. So the guy then ends up following us. He finally pulled off, and we got away, and he pulled up, followed us, and rolled down his window and started yelling obscenities, of course. And by this time, I'd calmed down. But boy, I literally was in that mode of, oh, nobody does that to me. And then as he's talking and yelling obscenities, I said a couple things that I shouldn't have probably to him. Then it's like God tapped me on the shoulder and said, really? Come on, man. Who is this anyway? And I got thinking, it doesn't matter. I'll never see this guy again in my life. So it doesn't matter what he thinks of me. If he thinks that, whatever, anything, it shouldn't matter. I should have been kind and considerate to the guy. I should have been loving, but I was not. And by the time that I thought of being, it was already too late. The guy was already way past gone. So anyway, another incident was a guy did cut me off. And before I even thought about it, I'm like, what? What are you doing? Well, in this instance, the guy happened to be going the same way I was, and the first red light we came to, he pulled up and rolled down his window. He goes, man, I am so sorry. I'm glad that one of us was paying attention. That took all the wind out of my sails. I was like, you know what? I'm sorry for my reaction to it. I should have just waved and cheerfully, said, okay, everybody makes mistakes, but that's not what happened. Anyway, I'm saying all this to explain that it really doesn't matter out there. It doesn't matter, man. I mean, this guy, one guy thought that he knew that he cut me off, realized it, and felt bad about it, and he was apologetic. How many times do we escalate things? Oh, this is a good segue. How many times do we escalate things when someone does something totally by accident? Maybe they should have been paying attention. Guess what? They're human beings. There's no way that all of us can pay attention to everything around us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Everybody makes mistakes. And I could have started something with this guy. I could have followed him, flipped him off, cussed at him, got right up on his rear end and, and done all that stuff. But what would that have done? It would have just escalated something for someone who already felt remorse for what they had done. That taught me a lesson. It taught me a really good lesson. And hopefully you guys will have this lesson without having to go through it. But it really doesn't matter out there. Out there doesn't matter, man. Please, people, you got to understand the only thing that matters are the people that love. Only thing that matters in order are God, the people that love you and you love, and yourself. That's it. I mean, that's the three. That's the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit Trinity of the human condition right there. But I urge you in these situations of arguments or whatever. I just urge you. And this, like I said, I trust in God for everything. But this is also good advice for people. If you don't trust and believe in God, then you can still use this because it still holds true, because it is the truth. Just stop and think. Is this worth it? Number one, is it worth it? Really, is it worth it to just dig at somebody who loves you? Number two, did this all start because of something stupid? And I say that. I don't mean to say that any of you are stupid. But, we all do stupid things. There's not enough battery or megabytes of information on this phone to tell you guys every single time that I've done something stupid. I am not a stupid man, but I have done stupid things. We all do, we all have. So is this argument over something stupid? Something inconsequential? I mean, do you really want to get a divorce because John left his underwear in the middle of the floor, or a sock? Or do you really want to get a divorce because your wife, because Helen is too cold, and y'all fight about the heat and cold and everything? No, why? It's inconsequential, folks. It's inconsequential. The only things of consequence The only thing of consequence is love, and God is love. So, there's other, and I got off on a tangent. There are other things that I've told you about. Pride is mainly a male problem. Of course, I've seen women have it too, don't get me wrong. With women, this lady told me that as a woman, and many of the women that she knows, has a little trouble with men are more factual, women are more emotional. I don't think that you could say that. I'm a very factual person, but boy, am I emotional too. I will cry at the drop of, dude, I cried from like little Christmas cartoons. Drop of a hat, man, in my car or my truck, driving, listening to K-Love. I'll hear something that God hits me with, and it's like, here come the waterworks. And I'm always grab my sunglasses. It could be cloudy, rainy, whatever. Grab my sunglasses and put them on so people around me won't see me bawling as I'm driving. There's nothing wrong with crying, people. There's nothing wrong with any in this thing. That may be a little bit of pride, but I don't think it's like anything I'm gonna get into a knockdown drag out over. But anyway, I think I'll sum it up here and just say, please, that's what this whole episode is supposed to have been about. I know I've gone off on a tangent or two here and there. Please, if you're in an argument or disagreement with someone, stop and think. Stop and think. I mean, that's it. Stop and think. Don't just go tearing off into somebody because of some little thing that happened. Stop and think. Okay, and this has helped me a lot because I gotta say, sometimes April irritates me somewhat. But I try to stop and think, okay, do I love her? Is this really worth it? And that has stopped more fights than she has any idea about. And hopefully she's done the same with me, probably. So you got to think, is it worth it? And stop and think, do they really mean what you're hearing? Because I'm telling y'all, guys, the enemy will try to distort what people hear and distort what you say whenever you're in an argument, because your guard is not up, and he can slip in there and like whisper in your ear and make things come out that you didn't want to come out, that you had no idea. But it's so hurtful to that other person, and of course the other person's hurt, and blah, 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 and back and forth and back and forth. Before you know it, it's a knockdown drag out. Everybody's yelling. People are packing their bags, getting ready to walk out the door. That really hasn't happened here. So but I have been in situations where that did happen. But over stupid things, over stupid things. Now, if it is something important, something big, still not worth it, folks. You got to sit down and talk about it and be honest. Honesty and communication. That's what you got to do. Sorry, but that's the way we're built. And if you don't do that, then, well, I started to say, can't blame it on anybody but yourself. And I guess to a point that's true. So just please try to be honest, loving, and communicate with one another, and just to let everybody know. And that, see, this is not, I'm not pushing this to try to get follows, try to get likes, anything like that. I don't care about that stuff. I don't care about it at all. The only deal is whenever you follow, you can be notified. I found this out from my stepmom. You can be notified whenever I do one of these things. And there's another one I want to do real soon, maybe in the next couple of days. I've got to, work some things out on it and be sure that I'm speaking for God and not myself. But anyway, I hope this is helpful to you in some way. And just know that, well, I probably know each and every one of you, but even if I don't know you, I love you, and I hope to see you again.